beauty as a form of art, as a bright phenomenon in the world. Painting, watercolor, graphics, sculpture, art and crafts in the program Kaz Art. In today's program, Free Brush by Carmine Barbaro. In search of a place under the sun. Kazakhstan's Odyssey of the Artist. Hardly an elusive moment of the morning dawn. Fresh air, expressive shadows of a mountain scenery, the music of the wind and the voices of birds. Here, in a remote place far away from the big cities, Carmine Barbaro found his inspiration. He lives in Kazakhstan for 25 years, and it's hard to say who is he, a Kazakh Italian or an Italian Kazakh. The first and only foreigner who became a member of the Union of Artists of our Republic. He is a Cavalier of the Order of the Stars of Italy. He received this honorable award from the government of his homeland for the establishing of cultural ties between our countries. He is an artist, teacher, public figure. He works creatively all the time. All Italians are known for their keen interest to artistic creativity and music as well. It is part of the genetic component of their national mentality. He cannot live without it. He cannot imagine his life without creativity. And it is hard for me to ask such a question like this. But what if you were not an artist? In fact, this is such an organic for him. For him it's like a bird singing. For him it is necessary to write, put the canvas on the easel and work. This is part of him, part of his life, part of his consciousness. In general, many could combine absolutely different aspects of their life successfully. And apparently, he succeeds in doing it wonderfully. Life of Carmine Barbaro is a dream of any biographer. Grandson of the illegitimate son of the Italian prince, the sailor sent to the dry land because of sight problems, Catholic who converted to Islam, and man who left his career for a dream, and the man who was waiting for a divorce for 18 years to marry his beloved woman. The facts are amazing. He was born in an Italian large family in mid-20th century. Father Mario was a civil servant. Mom Concetta was a housewife. Since childhood, he draws well. His pictures always decorated the walls of the school. But what fate the artist can have, it is necessary to be a teacher. Like all relatives, his father decided, and Carmine did not hesitate to go to the Navy, to avoid the sad fate of the teacher, as he then believed. Later, in order to find his place under the sun, he had to work in different spheres. I was engaged in repair of the house, most of all refueling with gasoline. I was the barman, even sold encyclopedias. Encyclopedias for a healthy life, I remember. I was a car washer. There I started a career at the same time and became the director of several branches of a large car rental company. But whatever Carmine did, all his life he remained loyal to his main passion, painting. He tried to capture on the canvas much of what was in his life. He searched for the creative style for a long time. Being already a mature man, entered the Academy of Arts. I do not have a diploma on art. I entered the Academy of Arts in Genoa. But at that time, I was 30 years old. I studied 1 year, and master, teacher, told me, Carmine, you are wasting your time here. We cannot teach you anything new. In the creative baggage of Carmine Barbaro of those years, we see landscapes, still lifes, portraits. Some images were painted from nature by the artist, and he saw some of them in a dream. It is interesting, but so far almost half of the master's paintings are his dreams transferred on the canvas. Carmine Barbaro held his first personal exhibition in the 80s in Genoa, and this fresco was performed by the artist on the wall of his hometown of Palmi. When I lived in Italy, I liked drawing on the walls and practicing fresco. Of course, frescoes are a little bit hard for me now, because the real fresco is not the paint on the wall. The real fresco is the power of hands and feet. It is necessary to remove the old soil from the wall, make a new soil, and when the soil is still wet, not dry out, start drawing. And the drawing must be ready and then painted. When the wall is still wet, I did it. I really liked it. And the life of Mr. Carmine is like a colored mosaic. He deliberately avoided routine experience, the grey routine of a civil servant or a bank employee. According to his movements, you can study geography. Born in the south of Italy, in Sicily, lived in Rome and Genoa, served on the island of La Maddalena in northern Sardinia, worked in Turin and Milan. And with greed, with incredible cheerfulness, he observed the surrounding species, books and sounds. Most of all, I traveled to Europe, not for work, but to visit rock concerts, Genesis or Queen, or the Rolling Stones. I had a big motorcycle. I attended a Genesis concert in Nice. For example, if I was riding on a motorcycle, 2 hours later I would be at the concert. Or let's take the concert of the Rolling Stones in Torino, thanks to motorcycle, and I came fast. Then I visited cities and countries of the post-Soviet space: Russia, Ukraine, Georgia, Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. Long hair, bearded, with a mustache. You will not believe it, but I was like that. I made a haircut and shaved before my trip to Kazakhstan. I went 2 years in a row. I liked it, and accidentally, then I was invited to work here for 1 year. But 25 years have passed. Kazakhstan of the late 90s of the 20th century. The country has only gained its independence. The future is exciting and yet uncertain, but the masters of the academic school are still alive, and a group of young artists was about to join us. They were going to combine the principles of academicism and modern trends in art. And in general, the whole world of the Kaz Art is friendly and unusually diverse. The doors of the workshops of Abdurashid Sjanov, Takbolat Toguzbayev were open for Carmine Barbaro. Takbolat Toguzbayev. His workshop is big. There are a lot of materials, and he gave me the keys to his workshop. In Italy, he would be sent to the mental ward, all because of the keys. How could you give your keys? And he gave me and said to me, you can come whenever you want. Often I draw in one corner, he in another. I watched, peeped, as he was drawing. He was a master, a great master. He was certainly amazed by the abundance of artists and such high skill of our guys in painting and in sculpture and graphics. This was a discovery for him. He did not even know where he was going, what would happen. And this was such a shocking event for him. Although we must say that he came to Kazakhstan already as a successful artist, because he is a member of the Association of Genoese Artists. He often held exhibitions there. There, in his native Italy, the master lacked an artistic environment. Exhibitions were too official. European artists kept their workshops under lock and key. The exchange of experience, joint plein airs, seemed unrealistic. But this was exactly what Carmine Barbaro was looking for. He read books about French Impressionists a lot, dreamed of getting into the same bright and open creative environment of like-minded people, into the enclave of artists, sculptors and musicians. I wanted to rest from the chaos, from the storm. I wanted to build a new life, as I always dreamed. I felt understood, that here I can live as I always wanted, as an artist. Then I became even a teacher, but this is another story. But here I lived happily for almost 4 years only as an artist. As an artist of the late 19th, early 20th century in Paris, that's how I lived. And very soon, on canvas Carmine, people will appear in Asian clothes, objects of steppe life, still lives, made in brighter and juicy tones. And he met new love and muse, the future wife Sharbat, and the Kazakhstani odyssey of Carmine Barbaro began. Now Sharbat recalls how she got acquainted with the work of Carmine for the first time. They already met, talked, became friends, and love ripened. But at that time they didn't realize it. And once Shara was late for a meeting for 2 hours. Can you imagine how upset the European was? We quarreled with him, and I left for another way, and I was crying all my way to home. I felt very bad. I do not know why, but it turns out that Carmine was also drawing at that time. He drew in a bad mood, but he painted a large picture, 1.90 meters in one breath. There are different flowers in different pots, such a bright and elegant work, and he called it "Stay with us." This bright canvas is a symbol of their love. Now this picture is kept in the museum of Ust-Kamenogorsk. And Carmine got a long-awaited divorce from her spouse, who stayed in Italy, and made a proposal to Shara. But with one condition: all relatives must agree. Her mother was against it at first. A foreigner will take her daughter, sell as a slave. And now I'm her favorite son-in-law. We were married 4 times, by Kazakh tradition, in accordance with laws of Muslims, and organized civil wedding, registered. So every time we got married and every time we put a new ring. This gorgeous ring was given to me by mother of Carmine, my mother-in-law, Signora Conchetta, I called her so. It's a family heirloom. I was very well received in Italy. I am proud. Plus brothers and sisters, they also love me very much. It is like coming to my home. Sometimes I laugh and say I cannot be treated in any of the 5-star hotel as at home of Sister Teresa. And now Carmine and Sharbat have been together for 25 years. Spouses support each other in everything. Here in Kazakhstan, Carmine found the long-awaited happiness and creative realization. I think that Carmine's early works are certainly good in their own way. But I think what he does here in Kazakhstan, a lot of the work that he has already done, it seems to me that they are better. And so for 20 years I have been watching his work. I know every picture of him. Carmine always says about his paintings, "These are my children." Carmine Barbaro once, in my opinion, in the middle or late 90s, or maybe in the early 2000s, held his solo exhibition in the small hall of the Union of Artists. We invited him because we were interested how an Italian artist feels in Kazakhstan. We wanted to talk about everything, about his work, about how he feels himself as an artist in Kazakhstan, what he thinks about our art. and all somehow fell under his human charm. Because he is a very positive person, and he was very well adjusted, was very glad that he was exhibited in the Union, and all decided to say to him, "Carmine, join us in the Union. Since you have been living here for so long, come on, because we will also be interested in cooperating with you." And that's how he actually became a member of the Union. He regularly pays contributions, which cannot be said about some of our other local artists. Nowadays, Carmine Barbaro is the only foreigner who became a member of the oldest professional organization in Kazakhstan, which turned 85 in 2018. And his creative palette was enriched by numerous plein airs, stunning views of Kazakhstan landscapes. Narınkol is the birthplace of his wife, Shymkent, Aktau, Taras, Mangistau and Astana. It is interesting, but even his moraines, paintings dedicated to the sea, were written on the shore of Balkhash. And when I was at dawn in Narınkol, my soul was singing. Or Balkhash last year. My wife slept until dinner, it was time of vacation, and I started drawing on the beach at 5-7 in the morning on the hills. And then at 10 o'clock I stopped painting because the ants started to bite me. But what pictures in Balkhash I got? Straight from nature, plein air. This is creativity. The works of Carmine Barbaro are full of expression, wide free smears. He writes as he breathes. On the canvas of the artist, we'll not see academically adjusted compositions, but we feel passion and energy, an amazing will to live, an interest in the most seemingly insignificant trifles. He has a very loose brush. He does not think where to send this brush. He works by intuition in all of it. It is an important fact, compositions in all his paintings, there is such a moment of improvisation. He sees and he instantly transfers all these. And why he still likes plein airs, because it allows him to come in contact with nature like that. See the changes that are happening before his eyes. And he, as a brush, follows these changes, and this is one of the important factors of his author's handwriting. Kazakhstan palette of Carmine Barbaro becomes more saturated and local in color. All shades of ochre, blue are asked on the canvas. Bordeaux has a prominent place, the favorite color of Kazakh folk craftsmen. For example, I like the composition with the girl in the national costume, in the national interior. The carpet is visible, some fragments of the wall carpet, and all these in such a rich burgundy tone. But this holiday of life and this girl in the national costume, with a hat decorated with the feathers of the owl, as she gathers around herself, extrapolates this energy of life. And Carmine is very interested in this motif of life affirmation. Carmine is a man without age. His cheerful, searching and extremely active nature opens up new horizons. In Kazakhstan, he unexpectedly realized the dream of his parents. He became a teacher. He has his own school. He is appointed chairman of the international public organization Dante Alighieri, similar to German Goethe Institute or British Council. For merits, Carmine is awarded in absentia with the honorary order of the Chevalier Stars of Italy. Not just a cavalier, there are several degrees. Berlusconi is also a cavalier, but in other matters. Cavalier of the Order of the Star of Italy for cultural activities. That's what's important. The President of the Republic signed the order in January, and I learned in September. And I was handed in a year. But still nice, of course. Carmine Barbaro is a free artist. He goes through life openly, works, listens to his heart, and enjoys every passing moment.